So I'm going to go ahead and share. People can come on late if they need to. And let's go ahead and begin. So, of course, I want to start off with some spring fun photos like normal. And when you get home after a day full of showings and there is a key in your pocket, I want to say this has actually happened to me back in the day. So I totally understand if it's happened to you. The adult version of an ice cream truck. But of all the things I learned in grade school, trying to avoid cooties was the last one I expected to use later in life. Seriously. We do not have Wi-Fi. Talk to each other. Pretend it's 1995. Yeah, pretty cool. Love this idea. Have to have some pretty awesome neighbors and want to do this. Pretty fantastic. Had to share this. This is just awful. This is, don't quite understand it. I think it's shag green colored carpet. Totally dated, totally needs to be redone. There was a lot of pictures that went along with this one picture, but I picked out the very best one. How about North Carolina be like 150,000, Georgia be like 250,000, California be like 700,000. Funny, not funny, right? So let's go ahead and get into my introduction. And here we are. My background, as many of you know, I'm a quantitative economic decision sciences major from UC San Diego. I've been in the business for 30 years, an Orange County native, Capitol Valley High School grad, 9 kids, and I'm an avid runner. And I have 9 kids. Like I said, I brought 6, the ones on the right. My wife brought the 2 on the upper left. I adopted her, she adopted mine. We had Zeke, he turned 3 a month ago. And we've been all over the press, and our company is Reports on Housing. It's your local real estate snapshot. It's about helping you articulate how I articulate the market. That's really what it's about. It's about the strength in data and information. We don't focus on closed sales data because that's a reflection of the past. We're just right now getting through March. We just have February closed sales data. Who really cares? That's December and January pending sales. So we like to talk about what's going on right now. What is the supply and demand look like? That is the active inventory of available homes to show your buyers. That's supply. And demand is a snapshot of the last 30 days of pending sales. And based upon the supply and demand, we can come up with the expected market time. How fast is that market moving? If you place your home on the market today, how quickly can you expect to open up escrow? That's the expected market time. And so our reports used for the listing presentation, for price reductions, for getting buyers off the fence and into escrow. It's about making more money. That's really what it's about for you guys. And being able to articulate how I articulate the data and market information. So it's about setting expectations, and there's the strength and power of data, and that's what I'm handing you the keys to. We have reports that dot all over Southern California, LA, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, and San Diego. And since the last report that I did for you guys, More Homes Coming was the most recent one, was 2 back. And then the last one was a market shift. And there will be a market shift later on in this year. We'll get into why and how that's going to happen. We also added a couple of different features to the report. There's a bunch of links at the bottom of every single report and that we send out. We email them out to you. One of them is this. This is the infographic link. It's a new feature. And then we also have a little bit of space on the right-hand side to put your own logo and any other information that you want right there. We also came up with this. This is a new feature where we have these social media posts that change. We come up with a different concept each time and then share that to everybody. And there's a unique one for each of the different 5 counties. So go to reportsonhousing.com, click on subscribe, and there are, like I said, a bunch of links at the bottom, and they're for printing it out, copy, cut, edit, paste, Excel spreadsheets, excerpts, as well as a bunch of charts that are updated. And this thing comes out every 2 weeks. San Bernardino Riverside came out on Monday, and next week is LA, Orange County, San Diego. And it's $15 per month or $150 per year. You get a month free if you sign up utilizing the coupon code Easter. That's this Sunday, Easter. So let's get into the United States economic outlook. And this came out today, and pending home sales index dropped quite a bit. And the reason for this drop, and it's still relatively high, but the reason for this drop, it dropped in January. It also dropped in February. And part of the reason for this actually is that there are not enough homes coming on the market because of the lack of supply. So this is what the problem is with low interest rates. Everybody flooded the market, demand soared, and everything was placed into escrow. More and more and more and more was placed into escrow till the inventory thinned out. And now that there are such a few number of homes there, it is discouraging homeowners from placing their homes on the market because they are worried about not being able to find a replacement property, which is a real true concern in this marketplace today. There are answers to that. Realtors have them. I mean, there's rent backs, there's double moves, there are bridge loans, and contingent on finding a replacement property is another way to go. But not the general public doesn't know about this. So as a result, it is starting to eating into pending sales because there are fewer homes on the market. So that's really what this is about. You won't get this story on Bloomberg or CNBC or anywhere else, but this is really what is driving what's going on with the pending home sales index. Case-Shiller Home Price Index is going through the roof. This also came out this week. You could see it on the orange line is Los Angeles, the area that includes Orange County and LA and that whole region. San Diego is the blue line. You could see is the gray line, and the blue line is United States. We are really going up in value right now, too fast. It was 10% as of December. It's as of January. Now it is 11%. That is, we are adding about 1% per month in elevation in price. Too fast for any economist's liking. So we are rooting against the current trend. The jobless rate dropped to 6.2% in February. After this week, we should be getting the March data. So, but it was at 6.3. Now it's at 6.2%. That's where unemployment is right now. You can see right now, we're not subtracting or adding a lot of jobs. This is the months of November, December, January, February. You can see December was actually down, but November, January, February, slightly up. It's not really going to go up considerably until we start to really unwind this thing. I think March's numbers will be a lot better because California is coming online. April is going to be even better. Disneyland's opening up and a whole bunch of other places. I know there's 10,000 jobs linked to Disneyland alone. So we're going to start to see these increases going forward as we get to the other side of this pandemic. And job gains slow to a trickle. Now it's at 9.8 million. Don't have a job right now. It was 9.9 in January. Now it's 9.8 million, is down from February. That's what we need to make up. We'll probably get there about a year from this September. And so that's what we got to watch. When will America be back? What am I looking for? Well, I'm still watching COVID-19 numbers. I don't know if you guys are, but I certainly am, because what is tied to that is, of course, unemployment and hard hit industries of entertainment, travel, leisure, pleasure, all that stuff. Core retail sales is fine. Manufacturing, fine. New home sales, fine. Consumption, fine. Purchase application index, it's up 38% year over year, and it's 45 weeks of gains now. You have to understand, here's what the story is going to be. Once we get to the end of May, it's going to go negative, and year over year is going to look negative as far as the purchase application. All housing charts are going to look dumb for the rest of the year from this point forward. Why? Because we were in the midst of a pandemic, and it killed the months of March and April, and then May. By the second half, things started to turn around. So when we start comparing it to like June and July, it's going to go negative, and it's going to look like we're having a bad year, but we're not. It's because we're having a normal year with a normal spring. Right now is spring, and then summer will be summer. Last year, we did not really experience spring until the summertime. So forbearance continues to go down. I just watched something. There's a couple guys that talk about what is it, mortgages and lending, and they were talking about forbearance this morning, and they have it all wrong. They think that there's going to be this, there's going to be a lot of people are going to be hurt, and it's going to cause a lot of people to list because of this. It's not going to move the needle that much when forbearance ends. It'll move the needle a little bit, but and we need inventory, and that will happen down the road. But forbearance has dropped from 5.05 to 4.96% this last week. It's at 2.5 million people are now in forbearance, and there's 4.3 million in June. So you can see we're going in the right direction. There was 6.2 million total that entered forbearance. Most of the people that came out paid off their mortgage completely or are paying on time. And there's a lot that did modifications and things like that. There's just a tiny percentage that is behind in their payments after coming out of forbearance. So that's not going to be a story of doom and gloom down the road of a lot of distress. So, and the Washington, D.C. was busy. We have a relief bill. Number 5 was passed, and it involved putting money in a lot of people's pockets. So that is what's going on right now. So understand that that people's savings are astronomically high right now. And as we come out of this pandemic, they're going to want to spend those savings. A lot of the stimulus checks are going right into savings accounts. So know that that is going to happen. Let's talk about COVID. I haven't talked about COVID for a while, but there's good news on the COVID front. 3 vaccines now that we have. It's 50 and over for everybody in California starting April 1st tomorrow. And then it goes to 18 or over on April 15th. So you can see how quickly this is going to move. The problem is going to be not that we don't have enough vaccines for people. It's going to be that we don't have enough people vaccinated for that want to get vaccinated compared to the number of vaccine vials that we have. So that's going to be a real issue going forward. We're going to start to hear more and more about that because we need to get towards that herd immunity of about 70% of people vaccinated. We're going to get to 50%. It's going to be really hard to get us over towards that 70% that's needed. And as far as the vaccine rollout distribution is concerned, 189 million doses have gone out right now. And as far as the first dose, the first shot in the arm, 94 million people have had that. That represents 29% of all United States citizens, not even just adults, because when you do adults, it's like it's close, getting close to 40%. We're talking all United States citizens, 29%. And keep in mind, another 9.4% have had it. So, and all those people don't necessarily need the vaccine right away. They have to wait a few months. So that you could see is moving the needle more towards about 39% of everybody is not vulnerable to COVID-19. We're averaging 67,000 cases per day for the last 7 days. That's kind of a problem. We had that first wave initially a year ago. Then we had the second wave along the Sun Belt. Then the third wave, we all knew that was a disaster and started in the fall and then winter. And now we're entering in a fourth wave right now. And hopefully this is like a race against the clock type of thing. So we're going the wrong direction, not necessarily in California. And that's because a lot of states are going back to total normal. And then there's spring breakers down in Miami that caused just a flood of positive tests. California is at 9.2% of all Californian citizens have had COVID. We're averaging 2,600. This doesn't look like the rest of the United States. It's not going back up. It's actually gone down. And 2,600 is a number that is so low. It's the lowest level since June 3rd. So you could see we're at a very, very low level. So now we're not starting to go up. Now for California, for us to remain awesome, it's the race against the clock on getting vaccinated. And hopefully we get all vaccinated by the end of April, and then we're doing awesome here in California. And I don't know if you've been tracking this, but I have. This is all of California. This thing was entirely purple. Didn't even talk about COVID when this thing was purple. We just all knew it was bad. But now the lights are going on, and in Southern California, look, we have 2 lights that just went on. They're orange lights. And they're brought to you by the two counties of LA and Orange County. And I said next week, but that's actually this week. Orange County and LA both went orange. And San Bernardino, Riverside, and San Diego, they still have some work to do. Probably next week they'll enter orange numbers, and but it's going to take them a while to get to orange, at least a few more weeks. But let's talk about the housing market, because that's important, right? That's what we're all here for. Change in the housing inventory compared to this time last year. You could see in the United States, it's not just a Southern California problem. It's a United States problem of not enough homes on the market. And like I said, most of these things placed into escrow. It's not COVID that's keeping people from placing their homes on the market. It's the fact that there's nothing for them to purchase. So if you're in states like Arizona, where the number of homes on the market is down 57%, that's a problem. And it's like this across the United States. Rapone, California, I don't even know where that is. Feeding frenzy. In Greenwich, Connecticut, insanely busy. In Bentonville, Arkansas, housing shortage. How about this one? Bozeman, Montana, please sell me a home. This is this article of this guy that was wearing a that was wearing a sign in the middle of where the central town is, a small little town. He couldn't buy a home for the life of him. And he watched home values go up $100,000 in the last 6 months. And he finally had a sign said, "My wife's pregnant. I've lived here for 10 years, rented. I work here. I want a house." And he got one a couple weeks ago. But Baltimore, Maryland, tightest market we have ever seen. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, sell within hours. St. Paul, Minnesota, crazy. Does this sound familiar? These are all from newspaper articles across the United States that I've been comparing. And as far as what's going on with Case-Shiller, look at this on the right-hand side. This is 2020 and 2021. Just off the charts. 2020 and 2021 is continuing to go up. But what does this look like? It looks very much like 2012, 2013. And then something happened in 2013 that brought it down. It's called rising mortgage rates. And that is the only thing that saved the marketplace, because the market was still good in 2014. It was just at a much better pace. And that's the direction that we're headed. So Socal housing, let's talk about it. Nuts, absolutely nuts. And we are recklessly speeding. We should be pulled over and given a ticket, actually taken to jail. We're going about 160 miles per hour. It's just ridiculous. Socal housing supply looks kind of like this. This is where we were almost 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago, 15,955. It was up 0.6% or 90 homes in a 2-week period of time. It was finally going the right direction. But compare that to a year ago, we're missing, there was 81% more homes last year, way more. It's approaching double. Today, we're at 15,595. So it's actually gone down 2%, wrong direction. And then as far as the inventory is concerned, it is so grossly low. It's just, ugh. That's all I have to say. It's just too low. And you compare it to 2013, and it's way lower than where we were in 2013. And we were dealing with the winter market, but since we had, sprang forward, things have changed. During the wintertime, part of the problem was we had such insatiable demand, yet supply was not changing much. As a matter of fact, it was going down slightly during that time period. That's not spring. That's when homeowners say that they're going to place their homes on the market. And now we're in spring, and that's when supply finally rises. I expect that to happen in the month of April. We're getting more homes coming on the market, but keep in mind, they're being shoved into escrow just as fast as they're coming on. But this will change as the market progresses. And we'll get into that. But the inventory, this is where we typically peak for all of Southern California and for most markets other than Riverside. Riverside peaks at the very beginning of the year and then has another increase in the inventory at the end of the year. That's all the people in the La Quinta area, Palm Springs, that area. They think that they need to place their homes on in the market during the winter time, and yet they don't sell that many homes during that time, so they actually accumulate. I'm trying to educate that area. But here we are. You could see this is where our supply is. It's going to slightly increase. And then as interest rates rise, which I expect they're going to do quite a bit during the summertime, we're going to get this overhang of homes coming on the market that are overpriced that will sit. And then we will not peak until we get to the middle of October. And yes, there's not enough homes on the market. It's not COVID-19. But there's nothing to buy. This is what's plaguing everybody across the United States. There's nothing to buy. And if I show you compared to the 5-year average in Southern California, January is down 14% or missing 3,000 homes for all of Southern California. February is down 9% or missing 2,000 homes. There's 5,000 missing homes in January and February. We haven't done March yet, but I've done through the first half of March, and we're missing another 1,000 homes. So what is that? That's right now 6,000 homes are missing for all of Southern California. We need that. We absolutely need that inventory. So, and I'm here to show you where the biggest problem areas are. LA County is actually up 1%. This is March 1st to March 15th. They're added an additional 24 homes. Orange County, down 11%. Riverside, down 15%. San Bernardino, down 18%. And San Diego, down 23%. In San Bernardino and San Diego, it's beginning to really, really, really eat in their demand reading. Their demand should be a lot higher. That's the number of pending sales. But since not enough homes are coming on the market, it really is an issue. But as the market progresses, it's going to lure more people as the market starts to shift and change over the course of this year, where more homeowners are going to come on, and they're going to come on late, and they're going to come on overpriced. That is coming. And as far as all of Southern California, you could see way fewer homes compared to last year. Check out Riverside. I mean, they're missing 66% of their homes compared to a year ago. I mean, there's close to 7,000 homes right now, and it's close to 2,000 today. So let's get into Southern California demand and where it's at right now. And Southern California demand, quite simply nuts. And we have nothing to blame but these extra low interest rates. Interest rates have been on the rise, but they're still really low. Historically, this isn't all, it's still a record low compared to prior to the pandemic at 3.17%, even though we're going, holy cow, they're high, 3 1/8. But at 3 1/8, still a record low compared to prior to this year. It was an absolute lowest level ever. So, but there have been 17 record lows. It was 2.65 at the beginning of this year, and look where it's at now. But even at 3 1/8, still too low. It is propelling everybody to line up and see all the homes that come on the market, and bidding wars ensue, and properties are selling for over asking. Now they're ridiculously selling over asking. The latest trend is ridiculous offers above asking price. So Southern California demand year over year, this is where it's at. And you can see it's not increasing at quite the pace that it could have if we had more homes on the market. March 18th, we're at close to 20,000, 19,747 is up 4% in the prior 2 weeks, an extra 687 pending sales. And last year at this time, 15,838. So it's 20% lower, but look at last year. That's the green line. You see where it was going. We can't compare it to last year. I'm going to start comparing it to the prior 5-year average. Actually, it will go from 2015 to 2019 is what I will compare it to. I can't compare it to 2020 any longer because this is ridiculous. And today we're at 19,663. That is down 0.4% or down 84. It's actually down a little bit, and that is because we're not placing enough homes on the market. That's why it's down. It's kind of like flatlining, which is, I would like to see it continue to go up, but I'd also like to see more homes on the market. So keep in mind for demand in the wintertime, which ended a couple Sundays ago, demand surges, right? Now we're into spring, and that's when demand climbs and peaks. It peaks in May. So Southern California demand, this is typically where it peaks is between April and May. This year it'll be later in May. Last year we peaked all the way in September. You can see it's nice and high, but it could be higher where demand is. It will continue to go higher, peak in May, and then we'll come down. And that is because a lot of people will be wanting to enjoy life that they haven't been able to enjoy because of the pandemic now that they're vaccinated. And we'll get into what that means to the overall housing market. But the limited supply is limiting sales. We need to understand that is what's going on right now. So you need to be knocking on doors or writing notes and letting people know that there are strategies where they are not going to get burned if they rent back for a couple months, because a lot of buyers will say, yeah, you can rent back. I just want a house, that type of thing, or contingent on finding a replacement home, or these bridge loans. So, and look at this demand year over year. It's starting to lengthen how much more it was than the prior year, but it was getting closer. And in San Diego, it was actually less than the prior year. But now we're getting to year over year where we're comparing it to pandemic. Like I said, I'm going to have to change the prior 5-year average. So this is where it's spring. So a review: demand climbs and peaks and supply rises. We are speeding right now. It says 130. I think our speedometer is broken because I think we're going 160 now. It's pretty ridiculous. We need to be pulled over and told to slow down. And that's where the expected market time is for all of Southern California, March 18th at 24 days. And last year we were at 55 days at the same time. Today we're at 24 days. So it hasn't changed much, but that's still low. Anything below 30 is nuts, crazy. And if you look, the expected market time is, if I draw a line across, that was 2013, the prior lowest time ever prior to last year. And yeah, it's way below that. And yes, ugh, that's all I have to say. It's just a crazy market where we are speeding too fast. I've never seen it like this before. So anywhere below blue is where you get a lot of appreciation. The further below blue, the stronger the appreciation. When it gets below 30, that's where we are today. Crazy, nutty, crazy. In between blue and black is a slight seller's market. We actually were there in 2019. And we weren't appreciating much, but sellers got to call more of the shots. So we're going to kind of go flat for the next until we get to April. And then we're going to start to see some lift in the expected market time. That's as more homes come on the market and demand finally peaks. And then it's going to go up even more as we get into the summertime. And home values are rapidly rising, and there is no end to this. There is no top to it. So, but more homes are coming. And that's what I want to talk about next. If you see this is actually, LA County. You can see there are more homes that come on in May, April even more. May is when the peak is, and June is not much different. It's actually June is more than May. So June's where the peak is, and May is very close, and July it's very close. You can see kind of elevated all the way through August. And then we have Orange County, and their peak is in May. So, and it's pretty elevated all the way through July. So that's when more homes are coming on the market, especially starting right now and through April, May. We're going to see quite a few homes come on the market. And this is San Diego. I did this San Bernardino, Riverside, but I wanted to show you a few and just show you that everything peaks in May or June. And it's going to be pretty elevated all the way through August for San Diego County as well. There is a market shift coming up, and I wanted to talk about this market shift. It's going to be where we're finally going to slow down to about 70 miles per hour. That market shift does not mean it's a buyer's market. It means we're slowing down, and we're still in a hot seller's market, just not a stupid, ridiculous, nutty hot seller's market like we are today, traveling way too fast. We're going like 140. We're going to go half the speed, yet it's still a seller's market. That's how fast the market is today. That is the best analogy I can make for you. This is still good. You're still going to get to where you want to be. Sellers are still happy, but we're not appreciating out of control. And I want to show you why that's going to happen, because this is what happened with the inventory back in 2013. And if you see this is what happened to interest rates during 2013. It started off in the threes at about, it was right around 3.25%, a little bit higher than that. But then it started to go up to 3.5%. And then during June, it got all the way up to about 3.75, then broke past 4% in July. And then it got all the way up to 4.5% by the time we got to October. So as a result, the inventory rose. And that is because fewer people could afford homes, and some people that were in the game were looking how much more their payment were, so they started to walk away. That is going to happen. And this is where we are in 2021. And this is where interest rates have headed. They started off at 2.65%, and they've headed up since. So you could see that they're continuing to go up. And so that is where what I am anticipating and forecasting is the second half of the year, when we start to really see some core inflation start to rise because of all the people spending their money from their savings accounts. And as they get vaccinated, this summer is where it happens. We are going to see a surge in interest rates. And when that happens, that's going to flip things around. This is what happened to the expected market time. This is the overall speed of the market. This is 2013. They were experiencing a speed of around 40 days for all of Southern California. You pick your market. There were some that were extremely hot below 30 days, Orange County being one of those and San Diego being another. And it was hot back then. It was in the low 30s. That's still way lower than 60-day expected market time. When you're below 60 days, remember, that's a hot seller's market. And the lower you get when you're at 40, it is going too fast. And then what happened is interest rates rose. Like I said, really started in June, which is what's going to happen this year. And we're going to start to see it increasing. We're going to see an increase, an elevation in the number of homes coming on the market. This is where the expected market, you see the expected market time actually rose all the way to 90 days by the end of the year. That was in where it finally was at a balanced market at the very, very end. So we moved from a hot seller's market to a slight seller's market. Appreciation was stopping during the second half of 2013. And where I anticipate is with interest rates going up that we're going to see this elevation. It's not going to slow things down to a slight seller's market. It's still going to be a hot seller's market by the time we get there. It will be a slight seller's by the very, very end of the year, but it will slow appreciation down to a much more sustainable rate, which is exactly what I'm hoping for. Because we could talk about interest rates and we can talk about where they're headed really quick, but rates are climbing. And people have asked me, Stephen, what keeps you up at night? And quite simply, it is lower rates keeps me up at night. And people go, Stephen, why are you rooting for higher rates? And that's because I think I've told you, it's because this is unsustainable. And I don't like rates where they are today. It is creating a gnarly market, and it is going to create ugliness. The longer we're down here, the more systemic damage we do to the housing market down the road. So I want us out of this by the second half of 2021. And I think we're going to get there. So if you see this is where mortgage rates have been since 1981. They started off as high as 18%, and they went all the way down to the twos. And I could show you, this is what happened with the 10-year treasury. Remember, there's a stickiness between the 10-year treasury and 30-year mortgages. This is since 1980, same thing. We had 10-year treasuries that were paying more than 15%. That's when we had interest rates at above 18%. So, but they've come down ever since then, and we got down to record territory below 1%. And that's why we had interest rates in the twos. And you could see the stickiness between 30-year and 10-year mortgages. And you could see what happened starting this year is there's been a spike in the 10 years and there's been a spike in the 30-year mortgages. So they kind of correlate. At the beginning, prior to this pandemic, we were at a 1.7% margin between the 10-year and the 30-year. That's the spread. And then it broke during the pandemic at first because everybody didn't want to touch much of any kind of risk or investment. They pulled out their money and weren't doing what they normally do. And then things fixed in the last 9 months. And now things are as tight can be. They're at 1.6% is the spread, which is even tighter than the long-term average. And you could see what's happened over the last 5 years. This was 2018 at the end when we had interest rates at 5%. We had 10-year treasury at 3%. Do you see the correlation? Higher interest rates, higher 10-year treasury. It's actually, it's just the risk the people wanting to invest in 30-year mortgages is the same as 10-year treasuries, very similar. And you could see over here, we got down to below 1. That's when we had interest rates at the 2s. We should have had interest rates all the way down at 2.25, but like I said, it was broken at first. But you can see where we're at right now. This was actually taken as of this morning. We're at 1.7, which is quite a lot higher than where we were before. And we've been going up. We have been going up like crazy in the last 6 months, and things to fix, and that's the direction we're going to go. And the reason for that is COVID-19 vaccine news. Jobs reports are going to only get better. Gone are going to be those weak job reports month to month. You're going to start to see it really increase and rise coming up, and that's going to change the 10-year. That relief bill changed it. Stimulus packages are going to change it. A lot of good economic data is going to change it. There's going to be a lot of it coming. And what investors are worried about is inflation. And because of all this good news, that's what they fear the most. And we're going to get probably temporary inflation at first for about the 6 months. And that's going to be enough to spook 10-year treasury and investors, so that we're going to see interest rates that go up. They could go up as high as 4%. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to experience an economic boom as more people get vaccinated and make plans. That's what we've already seen with airline travel has gone way up. Travel is going to be a big giant thing, as well as people are going to feel a lot freer to do things they weren't able to do before, and they're going to spend money. And it's going to be roaring 20s all over. Roaring 20s 2.0. We had it 100 years ago, and it was after the Spanish influenza that we had it. And then here we are again. We're going to have it again. And I'm here to tell you that we're hitting those summer months, and summer is when people are finally going to be able to go to the beach, and they're finally going to spend some money, and they're going to be able to go to amusement parks again here in Southern California. Only Southern Californians can go to Knott's Berry Farm, Magic Mountain, and Disneyland. That's kind of cool. And you can make reservations. I want to go. Man, they only have like a small limited number of people that can attend. So it's not going to be crowded like it usually is. There's going to be people partying. There's going to be more travel. There's going to be, again, more spending. You can get the drift. This is what we're going to experience for the second half of the year. And as a result, we're going to watch rates climb. They already have. We were at below 2.65%, 2.75%. You're looking at a $920,000 house. Today, you're looking at an $875,000 house, because rates are about 3 1/8. And then as they gravitate towards 3.5, 3.75, or maybe 4%, look what happens to affordability. At the beginning of the year, looking at a $920,000 house. At the end of the year, at 3.75, you're looking at an $810,000 house. You lost $90,000 in purchasing power. That is what's going on. So I'm here to tell you rates are going to rise, and you need a lock now. I've been saying it since December. I've been kind of on the money there, and I'm not changing my tune. I still believe it. And as a result, the overall speed of the market is going to slow to 70 miles per hour. That is not, I repeat, not a buyer's market. It will still be a seller's market through the remainder of the year. The impact of rising rates is the following. Sellers typically want more, so they are going to overprice. So it's return of the overpriced homes that will sit. And that's why we're going to get an overhang and not have our inventory peak until the fall. Probably October is my guess. So inventory is going to rise. The market time is going to rise, and not as many multiple offers, which is great for buyers. That doesn't mean wait if you're a buyer, because interest rates are going up and home values are going up. So the longer you wait, it's like this catch-22. You need to get in now when it's hot. But there is relief coming in the forms of higher rates, and price appreciation will slow. So understand that. The market will go from nuts to a regular seller's market. So let's do a little market overview. And here we are. The market overview looks like this. Gosh, the overall housing closed sales for all of Southern California in January, it was up 16%, extra 2,000 closed sales. In February, it was at up 13%, an extra 1,591 sales. So anyway, Southern California closed sales, you could see that it's up right now. That's the yellow line. The orange line is January, February of last year. January, February of 2019 is the other orange line. So it's actually been going up. And let's talk about luxury. Luxury is surging, and you could see luxury closed sales is right here. This is this Himalaya on the right-hand side. And this is where we were last year. That January and February is actually a little less. And this was the year before. January and February is a little bit more. So you can see where it's at right now. Wow, January's up 49% or an extra 1,750 closed sales. That's up 49. I mean, it's extra 579 closed sales. It's up 49%. And in February, up 84%, an extra 912 closed sales. And luxury imbalance, check it out. So you could see that 5 to 750 overall, 0 to 500 missing 12% of closed sales. But anyways, I wanted to show you this because the lowest ranges are disappearing. And as you go forward, 5 to 750, more homes are selling. And as you get all the way to the right, more and more and more and more homes are selling. You get to 4 million plus and you have an extra 132 compared to last year at this time. So you can understand this is January to February combined. There are a lot more closed sales. And for LA, the January, February closings, there's an extra 485 above 1.5 million for LA. That's extra 57%. Orange County's up 48%, extra 208. They're also 1.5 million plus. Riverside County up 118%. That's an extra 328 closed sales. And they're at Riverside's 800,000 plus. San Bernardino's at 650,000 plus. They're up 97%. When it's 118%, that's double. 97% is almost double. That's 232 extra closed sales or 650,000 plus. And then San Diego County is at 52% higher, 237 extra. They're at 1,250,000 plus. And what that threshold is the top 10% tier of closed sales. That's what I call luxury. So, and I compare it over time. So it's the spring. If you're luxury, get it on now. I've already explained what happens the second half of the year. It's now, right now, that you need to place your home on the market. So go to reportsonhousing.com, click on subscribe. That's REPORTS, reportsonhousing.com. It's $15 per month or $150 per year. And you can subscribe. You get a month free if you utilize the coupon code Easter. It's coming up. Happy Easter, everybody. And there's a sample reports section within within reportsonhousing.com's website. There's a referral program. If you refer somebody and they sign up and that referral says, hey, Joe Schmo, sign me up, that Joe Schmo is going to get an extra month for free. So just, I do have Facebook Live. We're going dark this week because of Holy Week. I don't want to do this on Friday at 3 p.m. That's a very special moment in time. And YouTube, we also go, we have the Facebook Live on Facebook. We also go stream live for the housing debrief. That will be the following Friday, a week from this Friday at 3 o'clock. We do have a business page, Reports on Housing. And I can now offer up some Q&A if anybody has any questions. I don't see anything in the Q&A right now, and I don't see anything in the chat. So if you have a question, this would be the time to ask it. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I go ahead and enter it in. I'm looking at the blog. I don't see anything. So let's see. Here we go. How often do your videos like this and where? Well, Jeremy, I do this one on a monthly basis. It's a little bit different than the ones I do in the offices. And I do this one on a monthly basis through the boards. I do the housing debrief every Friday at 3 o'clock. That's just one topic. I like to stick to it, interview my kids and all that stuff. That's about 25 minutes, 5 minutes of talking to my kids and 20 minutes of content. And then I go to the office level. If I have not been to your office before, have your office manager contact me. They can contact me through Facebook, and I'd be more than happy to put something together. So that's how often these videos are done. Anything else? Thank you, Laylene. Thank you. Happy Easter, Passover, everyone. Thank you so much for the awesome information. Could you please go over it? What would happen price-wise once rates go up 0.5% to 1%? I heard this guy say if they go up 1%, that values go down 10%. Bull honky. I do not like to comment on YouTube stuff, but I commented on this guy because I like him and I needed him to know that he's off. If we have interest rates going up 1%, I showed you in 2013, they did that very thing. Values did not come down 10%. So that is entirely wrong, and they will not right now. It will go from 140 miles per hour to, 70 miles per hour. So with that, what I expect is appreciation more along the lines of about 5% per year. So not even 0.5% per month, which it could be like 4 to 5%. So you're looking at it's much more sustainable. Values are going up, just not at a rocket breakneck speed. So understand that. So any other questions you have? I'm going to say it's going once, going twice. Well, sold. Everybody have a fantastic Holy Week and a fantastic Easter Passover, and we'll see you in another month. I appreciate you having me, and have an excellent rest of your day. Thanks much.